This is the Jerry Callahan Show.
All right, we have reached this point in Joe Biden's America. As we sit here today, Monday, July 22nd, the speculation on social media is running wild. Is Joe Biden still with us? Is he alive? Is he aware? Is he lucid? He quit the race yesterday, Sunday, a day after saying he was all in. He was never going to quit the race. A day after a whole bunch of Democrats endorsed him and said he's perfectly fit for the job and capable of serving 4 more years. In a surprise announcement, to me, it was a surprise because I thought he was going to dig his heels in a little longer, but no. He posted on X, on Twitter. Man, has the world changed. 2 years after Elon Musk bought Twitter and everyone predicted doom for Twitter, no one was going to support Twitter. No one was going to advertise. It was going to fade into oblivion. Now it is the venue, the vehicle the president uses to announce this bombshell that he is out of the race. That happened at 1:46. At 2 p.m., all the networks, all the cable channels started jumping on it and saying, according to Joe Biden on X, he releases a 5 paragraph statement saying he's out. He's done on his personal stationery, not on the White House stationery. And then all the sleuths went to work analyzing the words and the signature. And lots of people out there saying that's not him. He didn't do this. But whoever did it is close to him, is in his inner circle, and Joe Biden is out. My initial reaction was disappointment. Let's be honest. He was going to lose, and it was going to be embarrassing, and nobody earned the scorn, the humiliation like Joe Biden. One of the great lies ever told was he's a decent man. He's a good man. No, he's not decent. He's not good. And no, he didn't place country and party above himself. That is the lie you're seeing all over the mainstream media today. The people saying it, many of them were the ones forcing him out. All the Obama crew, they're the ones who were pressuring him, pressuring donors to pull out. They're the ones that knew he couldn't win and wanted him gone. They got him gone. And then they took to social media to say, you know, he's a good and decent man, placing country and party above self. Bullshit. That is not what he's doing. That's not what he's ever done. He's been in public life for 50 years. He has never placed country, party, or anything above himself and his wretched family. And my initial reaction, I'll give you a few. This is a special broadcast of the Callahan Show. I'm away. I'm in parts unknown, and I brought my stuff just for this occasion. Big news, big breaking news, and here we go. Joe Biden is out against his will, against the will of his evil wife and his rotten family. They wanted him in the race. There's no way. They gave up power. They gave up this campaign for less than, I put the over-under on 50 million when I posted on Twitter, and everybody said way over 100 million, 200 million. If we had a mainstream media that gave a damn about getting the truth, they would ask this question. What did they give Joe Biden? He's not known as quid pro Joe for nothing. Joe Biden doesn't give up this campaign for the good of the country or the good of the party or for Kamala. He gave it up for something, and I'm going to guess something very substantial. Maybe we'll find out someday. Maybe we won't. We'll get to his brother, Frank. He had a very revealing interview with CBS. But here's the 2 reasons I was initially disappointed. I was so looking forward to the next debate. Joe said he was going to be ready next time. He wasn't going to travel. He wouldn't be jet lagged. He'd be ready to go. Well, he's never going to debate Donald Trump again. And the first debate is the reason he's out above all else. That's the reason everyone got to see the real Joe Biden. Cognitively challenged, old, feeble, confused, frail, unable to do the job. From that day, June 27th, till yesterday, It was an all-out effort to get him off the ticket, and finally they succeeded. And the other reason, this isn't important, but I was really looking forward to J.D. Vance debating Kamala Harris. Now I have to settle for Donald Trump debating Kamala Harris, which will be great. Trump's already said we're changing the plan. He agreed to debate Joe Biden on ABC, George Stephanopoulos' network. Well, that was the initial plan, Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Well, it's not Joe Biden anymore. It's Kamala Harris. So Trump comes out and says, no, we're going to change the plan. We're going to do it on Fox News. And maybe Kamala agrees. Maybe she doesn't. She will do better than Joe Biden. Of course, anybody would do better than Joe Biden. But she's still a complete and utter embarrassment. We got the sound. In case you forgot just how bad she is, just how awful she is. She's just vapid. There's nothing, there's no substance. She's the most artificial, contrived politician. There's nothing real, nothing genuine. She's not a real person. And we've played plenty of sound over the years, and we'll get to it because it's just a reminder of just how vacuous she is and just how radical she is. I mean, Joe Biden took a hard turn left when he entered the White House and was beholden to the squad. Kamala Harris is to the left of Joe Biden. Kamala Harris in the Rust Belt, in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, is going to get blown out. There's nobody there who relates to her. There were a few people who related to Joe Biden, you know, old Joe, Scranton Joe, Pennsylvania Joe. She has no connection whatsoever. This is no better for Democrats. I mean, again, she doesn't have dementia, so she's got that going for her. I would love to hear what else she brings to the table. What else would be her strength? There is nothing. She was a terrible candidate in 2019. You know why I didn't say 2020? Because she pulled out of the race before 2020. She was out in 2019. She never made it to the primaries. She never made it to her home state of California. She was polling so bad. Let me do Frank Biden first because this is fascinating. CBS somehow gets a hold of Joe Biden's brother, one of his scumbag grifter brothers, who's made millions off of Joe Biden's name, and he essentially tells CBS they're just going to make Joe comfortable. This is a guy we were told 3 days ago was ready to run for re-election, win re-election, run the country, be the leader of the free world for 4 more years. And now his brother is saying, we just want him to enjoy whatever time he has left. Listen to this.
News had a brief conversation with Frank Biden, one of President Biden's 2 younger brothers, and here's what he told us. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. Country over self. It sounds corny in our cynical political environment, but he nor I are cynical. The goal remains the same: defeat Trump and continue the work that Joe has done. My hope is that our party rallies around this heroic act. We asked him whether he feels that his brother's overall health and vitality played a major role in this decision, and he says, in my humble opinion, absolutely. So a member of the president's family now confirming that the president's health was indeed a major factor in this decision and calling his brother a hero for making the decision to pass the torch to Kamala Harris.
I'm going to vomit. He's a hero. He's a hero. If he were placing country and party above self, he would have never run for re-election. Everyone knew, we knew, Ironhead and I have been talking about it for 3 years. He's been a mess for 3 years. We've given you almost daily examples of this man in decline. And now, after the nominating process is over, after the first debate, after Trump gains a real advantage, he says, you know, I'm going to do the heroic thing and place my party and my country above myself. What a lie, a hero. And his brother says, we're going to enjoy him for whatever time we have left. We were just told by everybody, from Joe Scarborough to Chris Coons to Kamala Harris, that Joe Biden was tip-top, sharp as a knife. They couldn't keep up with him. That's what KJP said. He's probing and he's sharp and he's lucid. This is the biggest cover-up, the biggest lie we've ever heard in American political history, that Joe Biden was up for the job. And they almost made it. If he didn't crap himself in the debate, they'd still be in this. They'd still be out telling you he's fine, no problem, he's good. But now, these same people who told you that are saying, what a hero. He's doing the right thing. He's placing, the good of the country. The good of the country? You think Kamala Harris has a better chance of beating Trump? We'll get to Kamala, but we got to get to Chris Coons, because I've been watching all the reaction and reading and following it closely. This made me laugh out loud. This is the biggest Biden stooge of them all. This is the senator from his home state of Delaware. This is a guy who stood by and smiled when Joe moved in for a sniff of his daughter, his young daughter, on camera. This guy has been carrying Biden's water for decades, and he's not going to stop now. Listen to his reaction to Biden's announcement that he was stepping out of the race. Go ahead.
Joe Biden is grounded. He's grounded in his faith, in his family, and in our state. Excuse me. I'm sorry. This was a very difficult decision.
He's weeping. I missed Joe Scarborough today. I got to find out. Did Joe Scarborough keep it together today? Did he weep? See if
I can find something. There's got to be something.
I mean, they're all such friggin' liars. They're all such liars. They watched the same thing we did. We watched him, shake hands with imaginary people and wander off stage and give shout outs to dead people and hostages in captivity, welcoming them to the White House. We watched and heard as he said he was going to do something about people getting raped by their sisters and their in-laws. We listened as he said he was going to kill Medicare, and he couldn't do it. He shouldn't have been in the White House in the first place. The only reason he was there was the cover-up. They covered it up. They lied to you for years. And now they're telling the truth. Now he's doing the right thing, and now we had a better chance to win with Kamala Harris. No, they have an absolute mess on their hands right now with Kamala Harris, and it is glorious to watch. It has been one hell of a week for Donald Trump. Everything has turned up Trump, and they can't handle it. We're gonna you talk about gaslighting, and they've been gaslighting us about Trump. We're gonna get it now, big time. The media, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen, and we've been telling you this, what these people are all about for 3 years, and we've been right. We're gonna be right again. They are gonna try to reshape. They're gonna try to reform Kamala Harris's image. They're gonna tell you beginning today that she is really smart. Some of those gaffes, that were just, mistakes. She's fit. She's capable of running the country, of being the leader of the free world. I can't even say it without laughing, because this is going to be hysterical. And we'll remind you of some of the moments, those real Kamala moments we've lived through the last few years. And we'll get to the Secret Service director who's testifying as we speak in front of Congress. She still has a job 9 days after Trump almost lost his life when some punk kid got a shot off from 130 yards away. Nobody has been fired. Nobody's been held accountable. That changes today, and we're looking forward to that. We'll get to it and much more. But first,
excuse me.
Interesting the way people reacted to Biden's announcement yesterday. Can you throw that back up on the screen for me, this announcement? Because it's just so many questions. He doesn't mention his failing health. He doesn't say, I'm just physically, mentally not capable of doing the job anymore. And he doesn't endorse Kamala in this. He does it later. And I was kind of surprised that he endorsed Kamala, because I think he knows she can't do it. Look at the signature. By the way, you're a conspiracy theorist, Ironhead. That doesn't look like his signature. I've looked. It's different. Something weird going on. But after this comes out, you get statements from people, like lots of politicians saying, oh, all the Democrats saying he's a hero. Others saying, it's about time. You got a statement from the Clintons saying, they wish him well and they're supporting Kamala. Nothing from the Obamas. This was an absolute hit job by Barack Obama, who thinks he can control the process. Again, we remind you, these are the same people telling you Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Trump, Vance will end our democracy. So they have a candidate, Joe Biden. In fact, they have two candidates, Biden and Harris, got 14.4 million votes in the Democrat primaries. They earned the nomination, such as it were. Now, Barack Obama and his band of insurrectionists pressure this guy, get him out, and have yet to support her. They want someone else. They want another candidate in there, someone who got no votes in the primaries, none. They want to anoint someone, and they want you to believe Donald Trump is the threat to democracy. They're liars and they're hypocrites, and it's laughable. Everybody's waiting, watching, see what Barack Obama's going to do. He's got a plan. We're not sure what it is. Someone is going to join Kamala on the ticket. They have to. And she's made it clear she's not going to be second fiddle to anyone. She is the top of the ticket. Kamala Harris. Yes. I'm just going to do a quick rundown on Kamala. Yeah, we'll get to one. I think the best candidate, Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. I don't know why he would do it. He's governor of Pennsylvania. He's young. He's smart. He's articulate. He's everything Biden and Harris are not. But if he joins the ticket, he's going to go down in flames. He's going to lose. And he's supposed to be the VP to Kamala Harris, that nitwit. I don't think it's a good career move for Josh Shapiro, but someone's going to do it. Maybe J.B. Pritzker, maybe Joe Manchin, who's not even a Democrat anymore. He's an independent. He would have to become a Democrat again, but he would present, that moderate misperception that he's a moderate, and hope to win back some of the votes that Kamala is going to lose in the Rust Belt. But listen to this. Why is Josh Shapiro not going to join Kamala on the ticket? Why? I've told you this before, but it's amazing listening to them say it out loud. This is John King, I believe, on CNN. Go ahead.
Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro is being discussed as one of Harris's potential running mates. He also endorsed her tonight. In your view, what are the pros and cons for putting him on the ticket?
Well, he's certainly under consideration. I know that from key Harris allies. He's a first-term governor. He's Jewish. There could be some risks in putting him on the ticket, but certainly some of our voters here in Pennsylvania said, hey, we like Governor Shapiro. Give him a look. Also told Anderson that some other governors, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, are on the list of the Harris team. One Harris ally told me today they hope to get her within a few days, assuming her path to the nomination continues to look good, and it does tonight, but we still have some question marks. They hope to get her a list, they say within several days to a week, of 4 or 5 names for her to pick from.
Did you catch that? It's a risk to put him on the ticket because he's Jewish, not because he's, pro-IDF or pro-war or anything about his policies, anything about his history or his votes, because he's Jewish. He was born Jewish, raised Jewish, and that would be a problem for Democrats. And they know it because they have rabid anti-Semites who are running the party. They have AOC and Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib. They don't want a Jewish guy on the ticket. That's amazing. And they're saying it out loud. And I think, again, he'd be the best choice. But they don't want to risk upsetting their base of virulent anti-Semites. That's where we are right now in the Democrat Party. All right, we got to get to some of this Harris stuff because it's just amazing. Here's what they actually did. They removed Joe Biden from the ticket and they replaced him with the only person in America less capable, less popular. Her approval rating is lower than his, and for good reason. She is just horrible at the job. She, again, ran for the nomination. during the process, in the debates, she called Joe Biden a racist and a rapist, and then he picked her for the ticket. This is going to put the spotlight on the madness of DEI. She's only there because she's a woman of color. She's not African American. Her father, I believe, is Jamaican from a family of slave traders. Her mother is from India. She has a PhD, by the way. Another card they can't play anymore. The Scranton Joe card, the working class Joe card. This is a little rich girl who's had everything handed to her a whole life. 2 college professors, her parents. And she's there because of the color of her skin and her gender or sex. Joe Biden admitted as much when he picked her. He said it. I'm going to pick a black woman. He did. She's been such a disaster. This is going to cause real harm to the whole DEI movement, which is falling apart as we speak everywhere. And it's good. It's a great thing. This is the beginning of the end for Kamala. She was running for the nomination, again, polling at about 1 or 2% before pulling out in December of 2019. But Tulsi Gabbard put the 2 in the back of the head during this debate. Watch.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris said she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
That was it. That was the end of Kamala Harris 2020 right there. Yes, she kept the guy on death row. She knew he was innocent. Kept him on death row for political reasons, and she used prisoners for labor crews after their date they were supposed to be released. And she put lots of young Black men in prison for marijuana and then joked about smoking weed herself. That's going to leave a mark. It did leave a mark, and it's going to matter. I'm telling you, usually you can say something good about somebody. You know, you can find some strength or some benefit they bring to the ticket or to the campaign. She's got nothing. I mean, literally nothing. Nothing on her resume, nothing in her history leads you to believe anybody would vote for her. Again, lots of people voting against Trump. Lots of people hate Trump. We know that. There's not a single person who's like, oh, good, Kamala's on the ticket. I like Kamala. Nobody likes her. People support her because they want a woman of color in the White House. They want to see someone advance, who looks like them. The women of The View will love her, and Joy Reid will support her, but they can't tell you a single strength. She's not articulate. She's not smart. She's apparently really difficult to work for. Check this out from Axios today. I couldn't believe this. Of the 47 staffers who worked for her in 2021 when she took office, 5 remain. 42 staffers have quit, including a few speechwriters, because they said she wouldn't do the work. They would give her briefing books, and she wouldn't even look at them. So add that to all her other weaknesses. She doesn't really work at the job. She's the border czar. Is anything worse the last 4 years than the border? She's the border czar who didn't go to the border, who refused to go to the border. And the border's wide open, and the border's a disaster, and it's a national catastrophe. It was her job, the border. She's failed. And by the way, she was sent to Ukraine before the war started to maybe ease tensions. She inflamed them. And the next thing you know, Putin was invading. But let's get to some of the greatest hits from this half-wit. Is this her on the border?
This is her talking about the border, yeah.
Excellent. This was an all-timer, and it just makes no sense. And again, she's sitting with Lester Holt. I believe. He likes her. He supports her. He hates Trump. But there's nothing he can do to help this hopeless woman. Go ahead.
We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
He's not making a point. He's saying you haven't been to the border, and you hadn't been to the border. And she keeps saying, we've been to the border. Oh, I mean, she's part of the problem. Again, this administration has been lying to you for 3.5 years about lots of things, mainly the border and Joe Biden's condition. But she's out front. She's on the point, on the border. And she doesn't, I can't even look at these clips. I'm telling you, if you're not on X, if you're not on social media watching this stuff, just spend 10 minutes watching some of the moments, these Kamala moments from the last 3 years, and tell me, as James Woods tweeted out this morning, just said, how can anyone support this imbecile? His word. That's what she is. She's an imbecile. And she's, running for president. She's the Democrat nominee. She's going to accept the nomination in a few weeks in Chicago. Yes, this is her explaining. This is her other job, the conflict in Ukraine, which escalated into a war on her watch. Listen to her explain the situation in Ukraine. It's hysterical. Go ahead.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
Got it? Ukraine's another country. Wow, talk about a deep understanding of the issues. That's a woman who didn't read the briefing someone wrote for her, that didn't read up on the subject. As everyone says, every time she speaks, it's like a high school kid who didn't do the reading, didn't do the homework, and is asked to step up in front of the class and explain it. That's her every single day. You know who was her initial? You know who was her first spokesman? KJP. She was her spokesman, and or chief of staff, I believe, chief of staff. Even she bailed. KJP said, boy, this woman is a dummy. But I could do an hour. I could do 2 hours just on her and how unqualified she is and how in over her head she is and how she's she's no more capable of campaigning and speaking and debating and beating Donald Trump than Biden was. That's why Obama's working so hard to cut her legs out. He knows if she's the top of the ticket, it doesn't matter who else is on the ticket. She can't do it. She couldn't do it in 2020, and 2024 is no different. All right, what do we got here?
This is from a few weeks ago, talking about how sharp and smart Joe Biden.
Good. Yes. You know what? She was more vocal than anybody about how Joe Biden was tip-top, sharp as a tack, ready to do the job for another 4 years. And now today, she's taking his job because he can't do it. So this is a good example of her just lying. That's all she's doing here, is lying her ass off. Go ahead.
As vice president, I see Joe Biden when the cameras are on and when the cameras are off. In the Oval Office, negotiating bipartisan deals. I see him in the Situation Room, keeping our country safe. On the world stage, meeting with foreign leaders who often ask for his advice. Joe Biden is a leader who always fights for the people of our nation. He fights and he wins. And he wins. And he wins.
By the way, what was that one day after the debate? June 28th. That was the day after the debate. And that's her. She's a liar, too. She just doesn't matter. There's nothing. It's the most superficial stuff. She just doesn't have any substance. That's the best we can do, America, is this woman replacing that cadaver. That's where we're at. You know what, Ironhead? We could do this for hours. Remember electric school buses? Who doesn't love electric? Remember Venn diagrams? I love Venn diagrams. Remember her explaining space exploration to those high school kids who were actors, saying, space, oh, you could see it with your eyes, with your eyes. It's just one SNL skit after another. If they actually made fun of Democrats, they would have like one after another, one skit after another mocking this woman. But I'm going to tell you what to me disqualifies her more than anything else. You remember the George Floyd riots? Kind of a big deal in our country. 7-8 months of just chaos, arson, destroying neighborhoods. 25 people died, $2 billion in damages, 2,000 cops injured. It was a real bad time. This woman not only set up a bail fund to bail out the criminals, the arsonists, the rioters, an actual bail fund. Some of them who she bailed out went on to commit violent crimes. But then she went on and said the rioters will not stop and should not stop. While the fires were burning, the vice president of the United States said the people setting those fires, the people bashing cops in the head, burning federal buildings, should not stop. Think about that for a minute. Should not stop. You imagine Donald Trump got impeached for saying the January 6th rioters should go peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol. He got impeached for allegedly not responding quickly enough. The vice president said the people burning down cities, killing people, shouldn't stop. Shouldn't stop. And now she wants to be president. A woman who thought that was just wonderful. And you know what? How about Jussie Smollett? Her dear friend, Jussie. Her tweet about Jussie being a victim of racism and homophobia is still up. She still supports Jussie Smollett. It's just incredible. What do we, I don't even know. Just give me some Kamala. Go ahead, Ironhead.
I love Venn diagrams.
Oh, here we go.
I really do. I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people that you agree with me, right? So, okay. So I asked my team, I brought props.
Oh, and are we really ready for 4 more years of the laughing and the cackling? I mean, she'll be better than Biden because, again, no one could be worse, but she's going to be cackling and attacking Trump and trying to be, show that she's tough. She could go toe-to-toe with Trump. That debate is going to be wild. I'm not sure what network it'll be on or when it'll be because that's up in the air, but it will be wild. And I'm looking forward to seeing who J.D. Vance is going to debate too because he is going to crush whoever it is. Oh, is this Colbert kissing her ass?
Cities across the United States. I'm just not seeing the reporting on it that I had
that's right.
for the first few weeks.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not, this is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. And everyone beware because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should.
They should not. That didn't get enough coverage. They shouldn't stop. This was ongoing. That was right after the beginning of the Floyd riots when Minnesota was on fire and they burned DC and chased Trump into the bunker. She said they shouldn't stop committing violent crimes because some drug addict OD'd in police custody in Minnesota. Just madness. Anyway, we should do a whole show just on Kamala and her gaffes and idiocy. And I mean, again, name one redeeming quality, and you can't use immutable characteristics. And 2 things. Here's my challenge to the people on the chat line, who, by the way, are saying that we got kicked off Facebook. Is that true?
I checked where it seems to be working.
Oh, good. We don't need that right now. Everybody is just right. It's like from Veep. It's like from a movie. It's like from Black Sheep. Like it's a caricature of a political candidate who doesn't have an ounce of substance, who's just spewing things that sounded good. There's a story, I believe it was Axios today again. She had to go to a dinner with a fundraiser, like a formal dinner with a bunch of people at some ritzy place. And they were so nervous that she wouldn't be able to say and do the right thing. They held a mock dinner, including wine, a mock dinner. So she could go to dinner with a supporter, a donor, and not embarrass herself. And it just, you could not get a worse candidate, I guess, except Joe Biden. But it's going to be fascinating to see who Obama and Pelosi. I'm not sure Pelosi's a big fan, but she might have to be. But keep in mind, she only won in California because she slept her way to the top. I mean, she became DA in San Francisco because she was sleeping with Willie Brown. And as somebody asked, if we can talk about Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump 20 years ago, can't we talk about Kamala Harris and Willie Brown? Isn't that relevant? How she got ahead in the, literally in politics.
Yeah.
But we'll be, it's going to be wild. I know I keep saying that, but this is just such a wild time to be alive, such a wild time to be following politics. It just, I mean, the whole, again, before we get to the Secret Service hearings, this is a recap on Twitter from Kyle Becker. I think I sent it to you. It's amazing. This is one day, I believe it's one day or one weekend. Joe Biden resigns using X, Elon Musk's X. White House staff finds out after he posted on Twitter. The whole staff at the White House found out about Biden quitting the race on Twitter. Joe Biden issues a letter of resignation, not on official White House letterhead. Joe Biden's signature becomes suspect. They find out this guy, Steve Ricchetti, wrote the letter. Jill Biden tweets out a heart emoji. That's it. That's all you got from Dr. Jill, who must have got paid or something, or she must be fuming. The White House wipes out Joe Biden's whole schedule. He has nothing planned. A reminder, when Lyndon Johnson quit the race in 1968, he gave a 45-minute national address to the country explaining the reasons. Joe Biden issued 5 paragraphs on Twitter, and that's it. It has no plans. Then you got Frank Biden confirming health was a factor. Then you got the family suggests he may have a terminal illness. That's Frank Biden saying, quote, whatever time he has left. And then you have nothing from Joe Biden. No cameras, no video, no nothing. And then I guess he's isolating. How long do you have to isolate for COVID these days? I mean, a stupid question because you don't. But I guess if you're elderly and sickly, you have to isolate. That's one day in Joe Biden's America. Absolute chaos. And I got to say, it is fascinating. It is truly fascinating. And it began, I'll say 9 days ago, when Donald Trump got shot in the head, got shot in the ear, came within a quarter of an inch of losing his life. And today, finally, the woman running the Secret Service, Dr. Jill's close friend, Kim Cheadle's, is going before Congress. It's about freaking time. Well, I don't know, this guy, the baseball players are now doing the fight thing.
Yeah, this is the fight plus holding the ear like it got shot celebration.
Oh, they're holding the fist and the ear.
Yeah.
I saw a few ball players. There's the Cardinals, holding their ear and putting up a fist and yelling, fight, fight, fight. I'm telling you, everything is turning up Trump, and it's glorious. But all right, we'll get to the Secret Service and a really revealing poll of Democrats, how they feel about the shooting of Donald Trump.
Excuse me.
All right, this is hard to believe, but 9 days ago, Donald Trump came within this far of losing his life, of having a bullet from a sniper into his head, killing him. It would have canceled the convention. They'd probably be burying him today or over the weekend. We don't even know who the nominee would be because he hadn't named J.D. Vance as his running mate yet. It would have been chaos. It would have been at some level, civil war. I'm not saying guns ablazing, but there would have been real strife in this country. We thank God avoided that, but I don't think Democrats are happy. This poll comes from an outfit called Unheard. It says 1/3 of Democrats wish the bullet took out Trump. I will say this, 2/3 of Democrats lied because they saw this as their only way to avoid another Trump presidency. That's it. When that bullet missed, they lost the chance to maintain the White House. They got nothing. They can't do it now. The polling is awful. Trump is beating Kamala Harris everywhere. In fact, some people are pointing to Michigan. They had a poll last week that said he's up 10 in Michigan. They need to win Michigan. Hell, they sold out Israel just to win Michigan, and it hasn't worked out. So the polls could not be looking better. Trump, I don't know, maybe they'll take another shot at him. Maybe they'll hope he'll, grow old and die. But they can't avoid this, and that is why Obama is working so hard. Trump knows what Obama's all about. He knows things. He knows things about the Bidens. He knows things about the Obamas. And I think he will do a lot more in this 4-year term that he did in his last term to smoke out the snakes and to drain the swamp, as it were, hopefully. And hopefully J.D. Vance has the same plan if he ascends to the throne at some point. But I will be fascinated to watch this today. Republicans are promising to come at this woman and come at her hard. It is almost hard to believe that you have this DEI hire who is blaming other people. She's the director of the Secret Service. And she said other people, local cops, other agencies are to blame. I'm sorry. You don't have to know all the inner workings to know the Secret Service has one job above all others. I don't care about their anti-counterfeit efforts. They're there to protect the protectee. The man they were protecting 9 days ago is the guy in most danger, in most peril of any public figure anywhere in the world, Donald Trump. They had one job, keep him alive, and they almost failed. They missed by a quarter of an inch. And we're not talking about the agents who jumped on him. They did their job, not the little chubby woman. She didn't do her job. But hey, they're proud. It's a very diverse organization. But this woman, the director of the Secret Service, was supposed to protect Donald Trump, and they put more resources into protecting Jill Biden. I'm not sure who was out to hurt Jill Biden. On that day, in the same state, they put more resources to protecting Jill Biden than they did to protecting Donald Trump. Again, they leave us no choice. We have to speculate. We have to partake in conspiracy theories. There's only two choices, incompetence or intentional. And we still don't know the answer. Maybe today, maybe this week, she'll certainly be fired or quit. There's no question about that. She has to. But what if we found out? What if we find out it was intentional? What if we find out that this punk Crooks, Thomas Crooks, had, 3 encrypted accounts? There's a lot of mystery here, and we don't trust the organizations, the agencies investigating it. But what if we do find out that this was a larger plot in the middle of a campaign? It's just almost incomprehensible what we're talking about here, what we're dealing with. And you can't just dismiss it out of hand. We're all Alex Jones now. We're all Ironhead. We're all conspiracy theorists. I mean, have you seen any evidence that dispels that debunks that yet?
Nope.
9 days. And is anybody saying that is ridiculous? We can't speculate like that? Nobody. Mm-hmm. Even if you're one of the people who hates Trump, you're not saying, yeah, maybe it was just an oversight. You're saying that's a pretty big oversight to let a guy take a shot at Trump from 130 yards away and almost kill him. And by the way, kill a Trump supporter. And yet Democrats, lots of them, are saying online, on social media, damn, we missed our big opportunity. That is just, screwed up, man. That is just effed up. Beyond.
We haven't recorded since Trump spoke at the RNC. What were your thoughts on that?
It was too long. I'll admit it. I mean, it was good. It was good. And I think he was trying to prove a point that he has stamina, but there's no such thing as a riveting, compelling 92-minute speech.
No.
I'm not sure if he overruled his speechwriters or his advisors, but he could have kept it to an hour. And I understand he wants to show the world that he can do it. He can talk forever, and he can wing it. And he ad-libbed, and it was funny. And the part where he recounted the shooting was great, but there was a lot of excess there. I think he could have tightened it up. And you know what?
I thought he seemed pretty out of it the whole time too.
He's different. I just watched some of the interview with him and JD Vance with Jesse Waters. He's definitely more, I don't know, somber, more reflective, more introspective, which isn't a bad thing. But there's no question he could have tightened that up. And I don't think any speechwriter or public speaker would tell you, 92 minutes. That's like Fidel Castro era, that style. I mean, you just don't go all night, particularly when it's nighttime and lots of people are like, okay, I got to go to bed or see what else is on. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was greatest speech, but it was good. And it was good to see him. And it was good to hear from him because it was a stark contrast to the vegetable that he was running against at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, the woman he's running against now is worse. And that's a good thing if you're Trump. Everything is turning up Trump. But we'll leave it there. And not sure when we'll be back. Depends on developments in the world, on the world stage. And God knows stuff is breaking every minute of every day. So maybe we'll be back tomorrow. Probably. The way things are going, Ironhead, the way things are going, I'll just leave everything set up right here and I'll be ready to go if developments warrant it. But that will do it for today. Look at all these comments. Oh man, people are like, they're pissed and they're wide open to the conspiracy theories. They really are. And these are not crazy conspiracy types. These are just people watching the news and saying they cannot believe what they're seeing, including me. But I'm sure we'll be getting back into it probably tomorrow. But we will leave it there for today. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thank you, Ironhead. I'm Jerry Callahan.